So yeah, we're La Pelle du V. We're a duo. We've been making music together for about 4 years. And yeah, we have a lot of music that we've worked on together, but this is, you know, we like to play shows like this. Very kind of intimate settings. We're working our way towards putting out an actual project. I produce music on my own. Obviously, Daniel has stuff on his own. But when we come together, I describe it as kind of like a vintage shop. It's a lot of different pieces, like folk, R&B, indie. But we always make it work. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, I agree.
All right. So, Akpanolu, what are the other prompts, or should we just get into it?
Yeah, why don't we play and then... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, you can say a little bit about like the inspiration for the song, the process.
Okay. So the song, what we're gonna play for you is essentially an arrangement that's in the form of one song, but it's made up of an original song along with a cover. The first is a song that I wrote alone and then I brought to Daniel. So the song that I wrote was just like very chaotic, but it's very dense lyrically. And Dan really helped me kind of strip it back. Whereas the second song is, very calm. It's like a romantic song. It's a love song. The first time we did it, we were like, we're playing to like people. It was a romantic song at that time, and it still is, but it's kind of taken on a different form. So we're excited for you guys to hear it. Ready?
Yeah, no, it's great. I guess we can talk more after, but it's been fun working with Raman because I'm more, just kind of musician, played music for whoever, and then Raman has like been really collaborative in the songwriting process and like sampling things that I've played, and it's been a really fun back and forth.
All right, you guys ready? Yeah? All right, let's get into it. Thank you. Young watching cartoons, Captain Crunch on the coffee table kept me busy for a whole day, cause 100 channels was a lot to handle. Couch surf to bikini bottom, I think too much like I'm Jimmy Neutron. Rocket power with my cousin Skeeter, just like that, spend a couple hours. Yo, I watch what you watch, counted time on the same clocks, sang hymnals in the same cathedrals, and we built cities with the same blocks. Slow dance to the same song. I'm so sorry that I done you wrong. I'm just a penny, but I'm still proud. I'm a 90s baby, so I say it loud. So 'Cause people are just people, they don't know what they're after. I thought you were gliding fast, but I'm gliding faster. I better wear a helmet, I don't want no disaster. Because I jumped from the mountain onto the mattress. Well, I don't know what will I do with you. Oh, I don't. What will I do with you? No, I don't. I just don't know, because I'm gliding off the ceiling of this room. And I don't know what will I do with you? Oh, I don't. What will I do with you? No, I just don't know, because I'm gliding off the ceiling. Yes, I'm off the ceiling, because I'm gliding off the ceiling of this. Yeah, so that first song was called Foster's Interlude for Imaginary Friends. So if you watch cartoons, you probably caught like 6 or 7 cartoon characters. Like, we can talk about that. And then the second song was called Supermarkets. It's a love song, so lots to talk about there as well. But yeah, we're open to any questions. I mean, I think the context that I'll give is like, I'm a producer mainly, and Daniel's a really talented instrumentalist. So like, I think that's the crux of our like working relationship as artists. But yeah, happy to field any questions. We started because a friend of, like, one of my really good friends in like middle school and high school went to college with him, and then they met up, and then I was invited, and then he was on Logic. You were like working in Logic, right?
Yeah, I was trying to remember that first time. But yeah, no, we met up because we both lived in the city, and then he was like, "Yo, I got all these beats, man." I was like, "All right, let's spice these up with some instruments."
Yeah.
So yeah, we've just been doing stuff together ever since.
Yeah. So been about like 4 or 5 years now, so time flies.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you just naturally fell into the roles that you're in now as partners in making music, or was it a difficult process finding your spot?
I feel like it was pretty natural the way it is now. Although lately I feel like we've been trying to experiment a little bit and like mix it up. Because it's nice, like I think we have a couple formulas that work well. But it's always fun to be like, all right, what if like you lay down, like an instrumental part, and then I'll write lyrics or something like that. So we've been kind of mixing it up lately.
Yeah, and I think like one of the things that happens is that I generally kind of like overdo the music, because there's a whole nother version of the song Foster's Interlude for Imaginary Friends where like there's just way too many instruments. There's this like juicy pump bass synthesizer that we had to strip down. The first time we like did this song, like, we realized that just having a more simple approach would be much better. So Daniel has a good perspective on that.
And just Rick Rubin did.
Can you kind of talk a little bit more about that? I'm curious, like, as collaborators and people that have worked together for years, how do you
I think one thing I'm trying to get better at is being like, I could be wrong. Because I would like oftentimes when we were like rehearsing for this show, I was like, all right, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to have this and this and this. And then Daniel was like, what are you talking like? That's kind of my perspective on how that happened.
I think it's one nice thing about living in an era where, you know, like you can record everything and do different versions, and I can like bounce 50 files and it doesn't take a entire room of tape. Is that you can show them kind of what you're talking about, and then they can decide if they like it or not. I think there's been a lot of instances of that. It's just like, because we're both, you know, proficient enough on like the computer and producing that we can like show each other, and that's been really helpful actually.
Yeah. And I think like sometimes you have like when you have a shared vocabulary, it's kind of hard to like take a step back. Like all of us speak English in this room, so we don't necessarily take a step back to be like, okay, what really is an adverb or an adjective? So I think that is like what it's like to collaborate in some ways, you know?
And we're always learning from each other.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what do you feel like you've gotten better at with collaborating with each other? What have you learned?
I feel like the more that you just kind of get to know what the other person is like really good at, like you can set them up really well. And so even things as simple as like what pitches of Ramon's voice sound good and things like that. Like you can start to write songs in there, and then also like what styles and themes and things like that. I feel like that is the best part of just knowing, and it really helps to be friends with each other, you know?
Yeah, that definitely helps. I think like one thing I've definitely gotten better at is I don't have any like training in keyboard. Like I learned from like YouTube videos, and like my sister, like growing up, she would take lessons, and obviously, you know, we can't send all 5 kids to get piano lessons. So I would like, you know, so the first real kind of keyboard collaborator that I had was Daniel, who's also really talented on keys. So I think when it came time to decide like which instrumentation we wanted to, you know, each approach with, you know, it made sense for him to play guitar because that's his competitive advantage. And like I produce in keys, you know, on Logic. And so I was like, all right. So then when we would rehearse our songs and we try to write them and like pick apart different melodies and chord structures, like he would have a really good idea about like, how do we combine these 2 songs? Because like Foster's Interlude ends on like, what does it end on? It ends kind of like right here. And then, you know, the next song we went into kind of picks up right here. And so like a lot of it is understanding somebody who has a better proficiency with music theory.
Yeah, I got the market cornered on my competitive advantage.
Yeah. Did you guys watch cartoons growing up? Well, that's the thing. So, like, that song, Foster's Interlude for Imaginary Friends. I don't know if you guys know that show, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. But essentially, it's a show about, you know. So it's a show about a kid who has an imaginary friend, and his mom is like, you got to give up this imaginary friend. You got to give up. And, like, that was a show that I watched a lot growing up. But I also
and there's an orphanage.
Yeah, it's an orphanage.
It's about an orphanage for people who have given up their dreams.
Yeah. And
it's
so
a deep show.
It's a deep show. And the thing is that like kids would grow up watching these shows, and like I didn't really understand like until I grew up that like the shows that we watched growing up, we kind of became friends with those characters, you know, like did you guys watch Arthur growing up? You know, Fairly Odd Parents, Proud Family, Codename Kids Next Door, all of that stuff. And so just as an adult, like looking back, being like, wow, like I miss Timmy Turner. You know, I learned a lot from Jimmy Neutron. So that's what that song is about, and kind of the lessons that we take from our childhood. Yeah. Any other questions? So we don't have a band Instagram yet. We're La Pelle du Vie, The Call of Life. You can find me on Instagram at Air Raman. You can find my music on Spotify under Raman Mama. And Daniel, what's your Instagram?
I think it's D Stroiker.
Yeah, D Stroiker. He's on the gram less than I am. I love
yeah.
Instagram. I'm taking a fast from it right now. But cool. All right. Thank you.